So as you get older, you're going to meet people in your life that you want to bang and people that you don't want to bang. And the people you don't want to bang are called friends. Now every once in a while, one of them slips through the cracks and you're like, I can see myself banging them. And here's a story about a guy who had a glow up and bumps into his crush again to get a second chance. Here's Just Friends.
Forgiveness is more than saying sorry.
Are you ready for this?
I was born ready, bitch.
So we meet Chris, a recording producer in LA, as his girlfriend decides that she should use this company Christmas party to break up with him.
Have a great life. Because Athena's out.
But he doesn't seem too upset, and just picks up the girl closest to him at the bar. He doesn't care about the women he dates at all, and we find out why the next day when he gives some advice to his friend.
No matter what you do, kiss her at the end, because friends don't kiss.
He tells him that in high school, this evil bitch teased him for years and made him think that he had a chance with her. He spent so much time with her and was really nice, but for some reason, she wouldn't date him.
Because I wouldn't screw you in high school? Get over yourself!
So now, if a woman isn't gonna have sex with him, what's the point?
Walk away.
But later that day, his boss wants him to sign a woman he dated once to their label, and he doesn't want to do it.
It was one date, and I ended up in the hospital!
But he goes to meet with Samantha James, who's thrilled to see him.
You and I are gonna be the greatest musical manager team since Jessica Simpson and her father. Only we get to and they can't, because it's illegal. I looked it up.
She even decides that he needs to go to Paris with her for Christmas. So they hop on her private jet that she then sets on fire.
I'm not supposed to worry about stuff like that. I'm the talent.
It makes an emergency landing in New Jersey, and Chris realizes how close they are to his hometown. So instead of just taking her to a hotel or over to New York City, where there would be plenty of things for them to do at Christmas, he takes her to his mom's house.
That's a great idea!
She's thrilled to see him, but a little less thrilled to watch Samantha play with his dick right in front of her. But his little brother Mike shows up and is very happy to see the girl he masturbates to sitting on his couch.
How many times in a day?
22.
Oh my god, that's hot.
Since things are weird at home, he decides to take her out for the night. But first, he has to take down the shrine to his high school crush he has in his room. And we can see why she wouldn't have been looking to hit that in high school.
I was a whale.
But when she does see him at the bar, it's a different story.
You're hot.
She sees him while he's talking to some of their old friends, and after trying to hide from him, is disappointed that he'll be leaving tomorrow.
What happened to him?
All right, I'm not that pathetic little dweeb anymore.
You're never a dweeb, Chris.
He's trying to catch up with the three of them, but Samantha gets really jealous, so he has to get her out of there. But before he does, he runs into Jamie's old high school boyfriend, Tim.
Was she a great big fat person?
He jokes that Chris would totally be able to nail Jamie now, and somehow Chris managed to forget that for the last few years, he's been Tarzaning from model to model, banging them left and right, including the literal sex symbol he's at the bar with right now. So he's like, Tim, that's a good point. I'm gonna try that.
Oh, light bulb.
So he makes plans with Jamie for the next day. She wants to go out to lunch, which is clearly against the rule he just gave his friend.
Don't do lunch. That's like the express lane to the friend zone.
But he still agrees, completely ignoring the fact that she's a bartender and probably wouldn't be available at night anyway.
I turned into a vampire. It's a long story.
So the next day, he ditches Samantha with his brother to go to lunch with Jamie. They go to a local diner where the waitress recognizes Chris right away, even though it's been 10 years and about 100 pounds. She even remembers his old order, and it's easy to see why he would have been overweight with this kind of diet.
You mean you've actually been sitting around eating sticks of butter from different lands?
But he refuses to eat it, and is really crappy with the waitress.
Oh, you're not a chubby bunny anymore. No, that's you. You're the bad bunny.
And Jamie is surprisingly not impressed by this, or by him name-dropping every musician he's ever met.
I saw you at the Grammys, sitting next to P. Diddy.
Do you have any oil? Ooh, more.
Wow. You don't see that every day.
So when he takes her home, and sees that she's not expecting the kiss he tries to give her,
And I ended up shaking her entire body.
The hell is wrong with you?
he gets back into his car and freaks out about how he acted. And she sees this because she left her gloves in the car. But instead of realizing the guy she grew up with is still in there somewhere and calling him out, she just lets him put the act back on and leaves him feeling like an idiot.
I don't want to be myself.
When he gets home, Mike lets him know that his day with Samantha did not go smooth either. He took her to the mall, but accidentally tased her, and she fell off a balcony. And now she's all drugged up, so Chris has an excuse to stay another day.
Dude, you're gonna boink Jamie tonight.
Yes. Are you happy now?
He invites Jamie to go ice skating, and he wants to impress her because he used to suck in high school. But once he moved somewhere that never snows, he decided to learn.
Well, I'm good now.
He has to rent skates because he can't find the ones that he sucked in high school with, and this does not work out for him.
It's so slippery! Woo!
He headbutts Jamie when he tries to kiss her, which makes the kids she teaches invite her to play with him. She makes all sorts of excuses to get out of it, but when the kids taunt Chris, he just has to try and show off. But the more he tries, the douchier he gets, until eventually, he starts kicking the shit out of him.
It's fine. Just don't cuss in front of the children.
But then, he stupidly tries a slap shot that bounces off the goalpost and hits him in the face.
Shoots, he scores.
The EMTs strap him to a gurney and drag him up a hill to the ambulance. And when Jamie sees his face, she faints and falls down the hill. But she's caught by a third EMT guy that must be a lazy piece of shit because he didn't help the other two drag Chris up the hill. But considering that he just has an injury to his mouth, strapping him to a gurney seems like overkill. But the lazy EMT guy is this guy Dusty Dinkleman, who's a big loser in high school who also had a crush on Jamie. But just like Chris, he's hot now and starts hitting on Jamie while Chris has to watch, strapped up like Hannibal Lecter.
Do you think he wants you sexually?
So Chris starts throwing a baby fit and slides back down the hill and lands on his face.
Best thing for him, really. His therapy was going nowhere.
In the ambulance, Dinkleman continues to hit on Jamie, and he tells her that he's trying to be a musician. So Jamie tells him that Chris is in the music industry and offers his help. But for someone whose dream is to be a musician, he blows this off pretty quickly and goes back trying to hook up with Jamie.
I really want to be a famous musician.
Later, Chris complains to Clark and his stripper dental assistant, who lets him know that Jamie's learned since high school and doesn't date jerks anymore. So he decides to pull a full 180 from being an aloof jerk and go full pussy boy.
Raise your hand if your brother's a homo.
So he invites her to watch one of the most overrated sappy love stories of all time.
Dude, The Notebook's so gay.
But it's also about obsessing over a woman for way too long, so I guess it fits.
After seeing Allie that day, something inside Noah snapped.
She says that she'll pick him up, but when she does, she brought Dusty with her.
Dinkleman.
Who then proceeds to invite Chris's mom. So his date does not go as planned.
Get down, Noah! You're gonna kill yourself!
Oh my god.
This is so gay.
What about Samantha?
Oh, after he came home and caught her getting massaged topless by his brother, they both made fun of him for having to wear a retainer. So to make up for it, he has Mike take her to an open mic night, who he told Samantha was a gig. And they're still out together when Dusty drops everyone off from the movie. Because she might be in jail.
You guys are assholes! You're assholes!
Jamie stays for Coco, and they watch some old home movies of her and Chris. And her actions with him do not fit the description he gave his LA friend at all.
Chick effed me up in high school bad.
She was just a normal teenager who dated jerks, and he was just the best friend she hung out with. She was really nice to him and loved him, but just not in the way he wanted.
Like a brother.
That bitch.
He was just the person she always wanted to hang out with, and even defended him when people made fun of him.
Check out his shirt.
She just wasn't attracted to him, and he really shouldn't hold this against her because it's not like he started dating fat people when he lost the weight.
Excuse me if I'm not one of your stick models.
But he finally stops acting cool around her, and they end up having a great time. So the next day, he ditches Samantha again to go see Jamie, but Mike left the windows in his car down, which froze the engine, so Chris has to ride his old bike to Jamie's. There, the entire family is sitting around Christmas morning watching Dusty play guitar, and after he sees Chris come in, he sings Jamie a song he wrote for her in high school, which none of the other family members find creepy at all.
It's like the Stalkers' national anthem.
So Chris goes to pat on the stairs, while Dusty leads her family on a sing-along around the house. Clark gives him a pep talk, so he goes out to talk to Jamie, but as he gets out there, Samantha wrecks the Palomino yard with Mike.
It's a Palomino Christmas!
See, she heard Chris tell Mike to lie to her again, so she tortured the kid who's infatuated with her by kissing him, and he stupidly gives up what Chris is doing, instead of doing what he should have done and refusing to cooperate so he could be given more torture.
See, I'm naked.
You don't deserve a penis.
So Samantha tries to fight Jamie and threatens to have Chris fired before driving off, but a strand of Christmas lights is wrapped around her tire, and Chris has to trip an old lady so she doesn't get decapitated, then Santa's dick catches on fire, and then Jamie's dad's dick almost catches fire, and a reindeer gets dragged down the street, also on fire.
I see you still have the best Christmas display in town, sir.
So Chris is pouting in bed and tries to figure out how he screwed up this bad when Jamie comes by. See, she found a card that he brought to her of a list of things that he liked about her in high school.
You have an absolutely breathtaking hiney. I mean, that thing is good.
And then she calls him out for being a douche when they tried to hang out. So he admits that he was trying to impress her.
It's the coast.
So they hang out, and she even stays the night.
I've got a little surprise for you.
It's totally obvious that she's trying to get some. But he gets nervous because he doesn't know how to bang somebody he actually likes. And this is because he starts thinking about the future and pusses out.
I'm gonna show her the biggest pussy she's ever seen.
And it's really weird that she would want to bang him after he just caused that much property damage to her childhood home. But who am I to judge what turns people on?
God, I want to lick your skin off.
Don't kink shame.
I didn't. The next day, he goes to Clark's dental office to say that he has to go home because he can't just bang Jamie.
Friends don't ravish each other. Friends watch New Year's Rockin' Eve.
But on their way out of the hospital, because hospitals usually have dentist office in them, they see Dusty singing to a stripper nurse at the reception desk. And this is just a variation of the Jamie song.
Janice smiles.
He then brags about trying to bang Jamie and even encourages Chris to bang her too. And then he steals a coma patient's juice and fucks off.
They went into somebody's room?
No, this hospital just leaves invalids sitting in chairs unsupervised. I mean, they hire strippers to pretend to be nurses and dental assistants, so what do you expect?
Don't get too attached to the dancers. They're paid to be nice to you.
But on the way to the airport, Chris decides he can't let Dusty use Jamie, so he almost wrecks Clark's car instead of just asking him to turn around.
Don't worry about it. It happens to everybody.
He finds Dusty and Jamie at a church with all the kids that hate Chris, and he pulls Jamie aside to another room to warn her about Dusty.
Dusty's a Jersey player.
But Dusty already warned her about him, so she doesn't believe him.
Well, it's too bad Clark couldn't tell her.
Oh, he's there too. He could have.
You can't compete with this. He's Jersey. He skis in his jeans.
So when Dusty taunts Chris, he attacks him in a church in front of children.
But didn't you say that he encouraged Chris to bang her?
Have fun with Jamie. I know I will.
Yeah, and when you factor in that he wants to be a musician, he should be Chris's wingman. Chris was even impressed with his guitar playing.
It's like he has 15 fingers.
So if he just played this right, Chris would have gotten laid, and then he might have got a shot with Jamie once he left. And if everything went right, he could have got signed to his music label too. But no, he wanted to win.
You blew it.
So Chris gets drunk, and since there's no cabs in town, he tries to take the bus out of town, but gets kicked off right in front of the bar that Jamie works at. So he goes inside to find her talking to Dusty, who she set up to play at the bar tonight. She's pissed at Chris, so Dusty taunts him and tells him to get a cab that this town doesn't have. But while Jamie's bitching at Chris, she says that her and Dusty are just friends. So Dusty lets her know that he just wants to bang her, and she lets him down just as nicely as possible.
I think you're funny and charming and sweet, and I just don't have those feelings for you.
See, when a girl decides that you're her friend, you're no longer a dating option. You become a complete non-sexual entity in her eyes, like her brother or a lamp.
I love lamp. I love lamp.
So he shows what a douche he really is.
What kind of girl would you be if you didn't put out for the guy that wrote you that song? You know what I mean?
So he fucks off, leaving behind his equipment and merch.
Simply Dusty.
She then yells at Chris, and he insults her.
The girl who peaked in high school.
So she hits him and has him kicked out.
Stay out. Both wanted to say that.
When he gets back to LA, he finds Samantha's in his house. He tells her that he's not interested, so she tases him. And that's when he finally realizes that none of this shit was Jamie's fault, and that he was just some stupid asshole who couldn't admit that he was in love with her. So he goes back to Jersey, where luckily she's not bartending on New Year's Eve, and lets her know.
I want to have babies with you, and I want to marry you, and I love you.
I guess they're gonna figure out what to do from here.
Does she move to LA? Do I move back here?
I mean, he's probably fired.
You don't make me happy, I'm gonna find somebody else to make me happy.
So that might help the decision.
Hope you enjoy unemployment, dickweed!
So I hope this story taught you that you should probably be nice to everybody, even the uggos, because you never know if they're gonna suddenly become hot.
The guy's looking for the anger bang.
I don't know why you just don't take me serious.
I know it's a little dorky, but I had to do it.
Which is really, really important. So, what'd you think?
This is your chance to get out of the friend zone.
Oh, that's just great.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
For sure. You keep living the dream.
Done.
Bye-bye now.
Okay, bye.